and welcome to Week 6, Day 1 of the HCS Pro League. I'm Elamite, and join with me, we have a very special guest today, former teammate, longtime friend, Tom T-Squared Taylor.
The bromance continues, guys, but it's not about us casters up here on the desk. It's about you guys watching at home. It's about these teams and these players because we are in Week 6, Day number 1, and with the HCS Pro League, coming to a conclusion at the end of 7 weeks, these games mean so much now.
You're exactly correct there. Now let's take a quick look at the teams we have and their route here to the HCS Pro League. Of course, we had the top 8 teams in North America that qualified for the league, and these teams will play each other twice during the regular season. Pretty much everything here on out is going to be a rematch for these guys. The top 4 teams will advance to the season finals. 5th and 6th will have their spots secured for next season. However, 7th and 8th place teams will fall down to that relegation spot.
Yeah, and with that being said, let's take a look at the standings here. And no surprise, Counterlogic Gaming first place with that 9-1 record. Team Envious second place with that 7-3 record. E6 Enigma 6 7-3 as well, but with a little bit less map percentage win rate. Also Renegades 5-5 in 4th place. Allegiance 5-5 in 5th place. Evil Geniuses 4-6. Optic Gaming 2-8, and Team Liquid 1-9. And as you can see, the battle for 4th place, the important battle for 4th place, so close, Kyle.
I can't even imagine. I did not see that this was the way that the season was going to play out. And, we all knew Counterlogic Gaming was kind of a step ahead of everyone, but the way that the season's playing out is definitely one for the record books. And, of course, we do have a lot of exciting matches here today. Our very first match will be Counterlogic Gaming, first place team going up against 8th place Team Liquid. And then the match of the week, and in my opinion, almost the match of the season so far, Renegades going up against Evil Geniuses in the rematch there. Team Envious versus Allegiance, followed up by Optic Gaming and Enigma 6. Now, of course, we were talking about this may be the match of the season. Tell me a little bit about what Evil Geniuses has been doing so far.
Well, Evil Geniuses just needs to kind of get past what everyone's talking about on the forums. Everyone's kind of been, throwing them under the bus, saying that they're not the same team, and they really aren't that same team that won X Games gold medal. Commonly is no longer, on the team. They have Suspector on the line now, so it's not about this one specific player though. They still have the same core. They still have Lunchbox. They still have Roy. They still have Snipedown, second, leading player in the fantasy HCS stats. They have one of the best coaches when it comes to Taui. It's just a matter of, can these guys put the past behind them, and can they really focus on this match now? Can they take down Renegades and really start to turn the momentum back in their favor? Yeah,
I mean, they had a pretty good start to the season here, coming out strong. And then, with the vacations and everything else they had going on, outside activities with work and whatnot, they definitely fell behind a little bit. But when Taui was up here on the desk, he said that they were prepared, they were ready to grind it, and they were going to come out strong. And really, that's not what we've seen so far. We've really seen them start to struggle, and all those cracks are showing where this is a tight battle for them. This is an all-or-nothing type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, the time for excuses is over. It's time for them to shine. But you know who is shining? E6. E6 is looking great.
E6 is on the longest current win streak here in the HCS Pro League. And of course, they were able to overtake that title when they had that incredibly stunning upset over Counterlogic Gaming. One that we didn't really see coming, and one that really wasn't even as close as I would expect it to be, like we saw in that CLG versus Envious first time they match up. So E6 proving that, and in my eyes, the most improved team so far that we've seen over the season, and absolutely the top 2 contender.
And Kratos, obviously the mastermind behind putting this game together, behind putting this team together, but the key is Huke. Huke, the #1 fantasy stats player, maybe the best player not on Counterlogic Gaming. And where did he come from? He came from the open side, the legendary bracket. He also, was not known, and we have so many people that are coming from this amateur area. We even have a little surprise in store later. One person, is actually going to be subbing down the road here. So it's going to be crazy to see all of what happens in the relegations. Optic and Liquid looking like they're going to be that 7th and 8th seed going in, but you have Elevate waiting for them. You have French Toast Mafia. You have New Era, Only Good Online. Any one of those teams, the way that they're playing, could potentially find their way into the HCS Pro League.
You're exactly correct. The open circuit, we've seen so many players come out and shine. The Rammies, the Randa potentially here, all the other players, including not necessarily an open circuit player, but I mean, he came from the open circuit, the Hines. Obviously that guy's done ridiculous things throughout his career, but just coming up late in the season here and earning his spot there on Team Allegiance.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is while these teams are still, figuring it out, they've had such a crazy opportunity to go and test the waters and put all together these different team configurations. So while teams like Liquid and Optic may be thinking, maybe I want to make a team change, or anyone that doesn't make their way into that top 4 in the HCS Pro League maybe saying, I want to make a team change, they're going to be looking at these open players. The question is are the open players going to take the bait, or are they going to stick together?
Yeah, I mean, that is a very tough call, and there's going to be a lot of important decision-making for the teams in the Pro League and these teams that have been battling it out all season long, right side by side with the Pro League in that open circuit. So can't wait to see what happens in that situation, and and how all these teams, how they fall out and fall into place here coming towards the end of the season, being now in week 6 already.
Yeah, and there's a lot of questions to be asked, but I think someone that could answer those questions, potentially Maniac.
Maniac might very well be able to answer some of those questions. And pretty cool new thing that we've got going on is Skype is actually going to be offering basically a question and answer period with Maniac in the arena. So that's going to be tomorrow night after the show. You'll be able to see Maniac go up and just answer all your questions. So you make sure you can submit them there. You can join the chat. You're going to be adding Gaming with Skype to your contacts. And like I said, tomorrow night after the show, Maniac will stick around and be available for those questions.
Yeah, and Maniac, obviously not as intimidating as he is in this picture right here. Super nice guy, so feel free to ask as many questions as possible. Try to get some intel maybe on what's happening with Optic, where they're going to go after this HCS Pro League is over, or maybe just ask for some sort of advice. It's pretty much ask him anything.
Gotcha. And of course, for any other kind of news, standings, schedules, and all the different intel that is associated here with the HCS Pro League, you can always go and find that information over at halo.gg. Nice little hub and home place where you'll be able to learn all about the team standings, news like we said, as well as more information here about Maniac, the players, and of course the new addition of the Arena group Skype chat there with Maniac, of course.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I may throw some troll questions in there just to be a little bit annoying. But guys, if you want to keep in touch with us throughout the broadcast, make sure you hit us up on social media at ESL Halo, at HCS. Use the hashtag HCS. Kyle and I will be checking out what you guys obviously think of the casting, but we want to know what you think about the games, the players, the matches, because it's going to be absolutely crazy today, Kyle.
It absolutely will be. And of course, a big shout out to Jinx as well, as once again, like they've done in a few previous weeks, they've provided us with some apparel here that'll be up for grabs. Of course, we've got shirts, hoodies, and lanyards for sale, or for giveaway.
Yeah, and the guy on the left, I think he's a little, upset that he realized after this photo shoot he wasn't able to keep the t-shirt, so I think he just stopped making eye contact with the camera. Meanwhile, these guys in the middle and on the right, they're super stoked with their HCS swag. I need to get some of that stuff.
I did just move as well, and now I don't have a lanyard. I definitely need to get one of those because I'm going to be somebody that loses my keys. So for sure, lots of cool things, and big shout out once again to Jinx for providing that for the show.
Yeah, king of the milk.
All right, and then for our first match of the night, we do have Counter Logic Gaming going up against Team Liquid. So, of course, Team Liquid's been struggling so far this season, but that does not mean that they can't take down Counter Logic Gaming. Maybe 9 times out of 10 they're going to lose, but if you've ever seen Miracle, it's still up for grabs.
Yeah, any given Thursday, right? And obviously, Counter Logic Gaming, the huge favorites here, Team Liquid, the big underdogs. But the thing is individually, they can hang. They're really great. When you watch their streams, Spartan always doing huge plays. Denoxide, very skilled individually. It's just a matter of, can they put it all together?
And of course, Counter Logic Gaming, the squad here, no stranger to anybody. We've got Frosty, Lethal. We've got the comeback now of Royal 2, so really glad to see that he's able to come back and participate, showcase his skills, and glad to see that he's all right as well. And then, of course, the legendary Snakebite.
Yeah, the return of Royal 2, the big story here. And taking a look at Team Liquid, you have Spartan, Denoxide, Stellar, and Eco. Spartan and Stellar placed top 8 at Halo World Championships. Very experienced when it comes to Halo 5. Very solid individually. And like I said, can they just put it together? Who's going to shine when it comes to having to carry this team either in a big Slayer match, maybe someone could drop 20 kills. That's what they're going to need to do when it comes to beating CLG.
And one player that we are really going to need to step up, you know, he's been playing well so far, but as far as closing out games, you know, making sure the chemistry is there, we're going to take a look at Stellar. You know, he got his kind of start, you know, he was briefly on Optic Gaming for a moment there, transitioned to Renegades, finished top 8 at the World Championships, and now we see him on Team Liquid. Got his start just last year, so he's been able to do a lot since he started playing competitively, and you know, not necessarily from the open circuit, but the kid's been playing online in all the 1v1, 2v2 tournaments and making a name for himself there.
Yeah, definitely, you know, a new name, definitely, obviously a very intense competitor. Just look at that stance, the arm cross, no smiles here. He's serious business. So I'm going to be looking out for him. Also probably looking out for Spartan to see who's going to really necessarily carry this when it comes to trying to take this win from CLG.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it so many times before. I think Spartan is one of the best players in the game. He's actually at my house for a couple of weeks not too long ago, and I sat down, played with him all the time, of course, watched him play. I had the opportunity of coaching him in Halo 2 Anniversary and again in Halo 5 as well. So Spartan is a player that there's no arguing that he is an emotional player. You know, wears his heart on his sleeve, but that's one of the things I love about some of the Halo competitors is, you know, it's all on the line for them. You know, this is also their livelihood, and he's putting 100% in all the time. And he's might have struggled off and on a little bit over the course of the season. I see him have some weeks that might not have been as strong of a performance.
Right.
But he's going to have to step it up here now and finish the season strong.
And let's take a look at the game types. Strategically here, you have the veto system in play. And what I like to see interesting, we'll run through them really quick. The Rig Strongholds Game 1, Eden Slayer Game 2, Truth CTF Game 3, Plaza Strongholds Game 4. If it goes to a Game 5, that will be Regret Slayer. But interestingly enough, this is CLG's first week game type that we're going to see here. The Rig Strongholds, they have a 2-4 record in this game type. It's their only game type actually with a losing record. So if you're Liquid, you got to look at that game type, Rig Strongholds, to try to take that one. And then you have Eden Slayer, which is a little bit of a coin flip as well. So if I'm Liquid, I'm looking to at least take one of these first 2 games in order to stand a chance in the series.
I couldn't agree with you more. And it looks like we do have the players ready. We're going to go ahead and jump and get this game started here. Strongholds on the Rig, 100 points to win. And like we said, this is one of their weaker game types. T-Squared, who are you looking to kick this one off with?
I want to kick it off with Royal 2. It's the return of Royal 2. I'm curious to see what he's going to do. Maybe go for the camo to start the game, maybe to push his way towards that railgun. I'm also interested to see if they're going to capture this VR base, and it looks like they're not. It looks like Royal 2 is going to push towards that railgun. He grabs the railgun, making his way towards barrels. Obviously want to get these guys out of basement as fast as possible. PJ Snakebite is there to help him. Takes down one player. That's the Noxide Eco as well. So a really quick rush to basement, and they have railgun scatter shot control.
This is turning out to be the Royal 2 combination here, although he is probably the best sniper in the game. Time and time again, especially on Rig, we've seen him with this weapon combination, and he can absolutely just lock down a side of the map.
Yeah, and what's interesting, at this point, they do not have nests, so it looks like they're going to try to double cap that. Never want to actually put one player together, and Royal 2 is just going to be able to continue to clean everybody up. Is he going to be able to stay on the map? He does, so Royal 2 doing his best to stay alive with the weapons. He's obviously the most important player on the map right now, and this is what Royal 2 does so well, Kyle.
And what am I watching right now, Tom? I cannot believe what I just witnessed. Not only did he have he has the power weapons on the map, he is a must-kill player, and they don't even know he stays alive. He quickly sneaks up, and CLG essentially has this on lockdown. They are capturing BR base, so it looks like they may, in fact, just give up basement here, and in fact, they do.
And this is okay. This is okay, actually. They can hold nest, and they can hold BR base. They can afford to give up basement. Eventually, they're going to want to rotate and try to get control of that barrel side, and there you can see Frosty trying to do that. And
what I do want to point out there is that was a pretty clutch play by Frosty. He actually crouched to get more damage there, essentially, on his AR, and it even dodged a shot, essentially. So great play by him. Now, Lethal will have that railgun picked up from Royal 2 there, so he's got one shot left in the chamber. But right now, we're looking at a triple cap already.
And once you have a triple cap in your CLG going against Team Liquid, the number 8 seeded team, it's so hard for Team Liquid to come back right here. Strongholds is such a control game type, and that's what CLG really specializes in. It's going to be almost impossible to break this without giving up so many points. And also the camouflage is coming up soon, so you have to put your focus to either getting that or just taking basement control. And either way, you're giving up something on the map.
Yeah, it looks like Liquid overloads the basement hill. Gets control there, but wow, look at that. Stellar has the scatter shots, doing absolute work with that weapon. Going to grab the new railgun as well, and that camo was coming up. I liked what CLG was initially doing, kind of setting up, controlling VR base when the camo is spawning, but when you've got a player jump up with a power weapon and grab 2 quick kills, that's not the situation you want to be in.
Yeah, and Stellar faced with a really difficult decision. He has the weapons, and he's just deciding, do I either just stay alive or do I stop these guys from getting points, because they're falling behind so far already. It's 58-3, so he ends up doing the right play, staying alive, doesn't have any ammo, so he switches back to that pistol and picks it up. And this is going to be the first time that Liquid actually has a time to hold a setup, so I'm curious to see how long their triple setup is going to hang compared to CLG.
Great point there, and looks like not too long, but Stellar quickly on a flank. And if you take a look at the bottom right hand of your screen, we have some player stats, and those right there are some sexy player stats, Tom. 4.27 KDA here by Stellar.
That's impressive, but they had a triple cap, and now they're getting capped back on already. So that triple cap only giving them 10 points when we saw CLG get that triple cap and get 60 points. So that's definitely an alarming stat. Camo coming up in about a minute from now. That's going to be a huge part of retaking this map control. But there's 3 people at BR base, and CLG is going to get that triple cap again.
And this is a lot of back and forth triple caps, but you know what I am impressed by is CLG is finally looking really strong on this game type. Royal2 just missing the player, jumping above his head. Good play, you can see in that kill feed there. Stellar takes him out. Frosty here contesting, fighting at that snipe spawn. Trades with Spartan as well. So a lot of action on the map, but CLG holding the triple cap still, and even contesting BR base here from Denoxide.
It has to be so frustrating to see 2 people, you know, on your 2 kills go down for your team, but yet you're still getting capped on this entire time, and the camo is coming up soon. But is that even going to be enough for Team Liquid to get that camo and push into that nest or basement? They haven't even had one good push as a team to really retake the setups yet.
I mean, we've seen some crazy comebacks here, especially on Stronghold game types, but this is a big lead. This would absolutely be the biggest comeback that we have seen so far in the Pro League. But just like that, or with that being said, this is CLG you're trying to pull this comeback on, not one of the lesser seeded teams. This is somebody that is not gonna throw a game away.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for game number 1. CLG is going to take this one in dominating fashion, and we have a goose. That's Denoxide with 0 kills, so I'm not sure if he wasn't quite warmed up there, but that is not what you want to see from one of your teammates in the very first game.
Especially someone that you picked up or the newest member of your team. This is officially, I believe, I mean, it's definitely officially the first goose that I have seen on stream.
Yeah.
I've seen some in tournament played before, but not in the HCS Pro League. That's a new one.
That one hurts because it's so hard to really trust in your teammate at that point, and trust in yourself, really. It's just like, oh, well, hopefully I can get a kill to start off, you know, this next Eden Slayer game type, you know, pretty strong, but it's going to be in the back of your mind the rest of the series, and it could affect the way that you're shooting moving forward.
And T-Squared not only in the back of your mind for the rest of the series, but for the rest of forever, as people do not forget gooses. And just like that, game 1 going 100-13 in favor of Counter Logic Gaming. And I mean, that might be something I'm going to see tweeted later on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're CLG, you're feeling really good. You're feeling that you just shut down one of the players that's supposed to actually be a Slayer for Team Liquid. Denoxide isn't known as an objective player. He's not known as a really great communicator. His job is to pick up those kills. So let's see if they can do that moving into this Eden Slayer.
And with that being said as well, the Rig Strongholds, you know, clearly one of CLG's weaker game types. Their record is 2-4 on this map. So one of the game types they've actually played the most, and they only have a 33% win record. So that is something you don't see very often from Counter Logic Gaming. And when I think like, oh, are they just all of a sudden amazing at this game type? I don't know if I can actually confidently say that, because it was a 3.5 v4, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty much. Or was it a 5v3? I don't really know if Denoxide was even shooting his teammates or something right there. But, you know, Eden Slayer is one of those game types, with that being said, that you could really come back on. You're going to see a lot of people trying to hold blue base. If you can't hold blue base with the weapons, then you're going to try to rotate towards red. But the key, the real big key to Eden Slayer is holding the security. So you have that security control so you can rotate and have that high ground up on top of that catwalk. A very underrated spot to hold.
I completely agree as well, especially when you see players with a sniper go into security and you can actually get that angle through the stairs to look at the rocket area. We saw that from Eco before as well, really using that position effectively. So we do have the players getting set up here for game number 2, Eden Slayer. 50 kills to win. Of course, we've got rockets on the map, we've got sniper on the map, and with how slow we've seen this game type played at times, you know, it's not unusual to see this game not even go to 50 kills.
Yeah, but the way that CLG plays, they're just such an aggressive team. I highly doubt that that's going to happen, and I'm curious to see what Royal 2 is going to do again. And he's going to make his way inside the security and kind of bait that shotgun, but there's going to be a splinter nade waiting for him, so he decides to take the smart angle, is crouching off the radar, and that looks like Stellar in that 1v1 battle is going to take Royal 2 out. So big job getting that security, but his teammates are falling like flies all around him.
Yeah, he gets taken out by a splinter nade there. You've got Eco falling now as well. Frosty running around, grabs the new sniper, and now he's got it in blue with all of Team Liquid spawning over at red base. So this is perfect position for them.
And that's so interesting that they weren't even, Team Liquid wasn't even able to get the sniper. When you're blue, you're supposed to be able to just easily throw the grenade off the wall, blow up those barrels, grab the sniper, run from the light rifle guy, and just try to set up and help outside. And there's a nice snipe from Frosty, and it's going to be so hard for them to overtake the setup.
And you see Eco gets caught peeking around the corner there, and all of a sudden a quick 6-3 lead. Team Liquid only picking up 1 kill to get this game started. Now that's Frosty still locking this weapon down. Looks like he still does have some cover, but as you can see in the player cam there, PJ or Snakebite is sneaking over at red base.
Yeah, that's a really annoying spot for Snakebite to be in if you're on the side of Team Liquid, but where they're weak is outside. They have 2 players in security and they don't have anyone helping outside, so it looks like the strategy here is for Frosty to watch outside with the snipe. Obviously the communication for CLG really strong. He could have just went over to blue platform and left that side vulnerable, but they knew, oh, perfect shot. So they know that that side is vulnerable, and the reason that they're holding this is so if he needs to run away, they could just leave that side of the map and go into security with the sniper and just rotate to red base. Rockets coming up in 25 seconds. I'm really curious to see what happens.
I can't wait to see how Frosty plays this. He's got 3 members of Team Liquid collapsing on him. He's getting cross-mapped by another player trying to survive and get away with the sniper. He's going to be ended up taken out. Now, Rockets are getting ready to spawn in 10 seconds. You've got Liquid still working in a 2v2 situation against CLG here, but the teamwork and the bait and switches from CLG just so strong.
Yeah, that guy's shield's just recharging, and Eco doing a really nice job of cleaning up lethals to try to get blue control back for his team, but Frosty somehow magically getting that sniper back in his hands.
And we've seen just how deadly he can be with this weapon. Now a 13-6 lead now. You will have essentially Liquid with security control, and now Frosty's running around trying to see what angles he can find. He's getting some callouts from his teammate. They know they're sneaking around blue. Looks like Royal 2 is just kind of sent up here trying to protect him.
Yeah, they don't realize Denoxide crouching around the corner, trying to lay down the fire on that sniper guy, and Spartan pinches in through the window. That's going to be 2 down for CLG, so Royal 2 going to do his best with the shotgun to try to keep Denoxide off, but he's getting double teamed from the outside. Huge win against Denoxide. Using the radar, is he going to be able to get this double kill? The thrust isn't enough. Possible triple kill. That's the rocket guy. That would have been a huge triple kill, but Stellar getting that clutch rocket against the wall.
That would have been a sick play to see. No shields. You see just how effective the shotgun is on this map. So many times, people can completely change the outcome of a game.
Yeah, the shotgun and security control absolutely imperative, but the sniper rifle coming up here, and CLG still has control of blue base. So Team Liquid on their heels. They're not going to be able to secure the sniper rifle area of the map because they're just trading kills. That's not what you need to do here. You're down 7 kills. You need to get set up at blue. You need to get power weapon control, and they need to have some sort of team push. It looks like Denoxide is going to try to make that push from outside.
It looks like Lethal. He's got a BR shotgun in his back pocket, although it doesn't look like he has any ammo there. So just kind of putting that weapon on spawn as well. You know, security is not nearly as powerful if that shotgun's not going to be responding there. With new rockets coming up, you know, I'd like to see CLG start to push outside. 22-23, wow, several members dropping now for Liquid. So starting to build up a healthy lead, but we've seen swings in this game go back and forth, you know, by more than just this amount of kills. So Team Liquid, it's a team that's kind of struggled finishing out or closing out games, but CLG, you know, can't can't say it's not possible.
And you could just tell the small talk and the communication from the side of CLG is just on another level when compared to Team Liquid. They know exactly where everybody is on the map, even though they may not necessarily see on their screen. And that's just such valuable information that you could use to get that first shot, because we're so far into the game now at this point. Everyone's shots are kind of similar. There's a lot of mechanics in Halo 5 that can make it outplay, but if you get that information, that should lead you to be confident in your battle.
I completely agree with you. 26 to 15, and Snakebite rotating that sniper now, chilling over at red base. Now you see the rest of CLG kind of pushing in, trying to get control of that security there, but it's going to be really hard for Liquid as Frosty also has the rockets you can see in that player kill feed. And with that sniper just now knowing that getting call outs and the player's going to be outside, just rotate this weapon.
And what you can really take away from this is that CLG, remember I said in the beginning of the game, security is so important. They have 2 guys inside of security at any given point of the game, so they can just rotate back and forth from red to blue whenever they want. And that's so important. Anyone that's watching this can take that away, whether that's a pro team or an open team. Control security with the weapons. You only need 1 person. If you don't have the weapons, get 2, and just constantly relay the information to where you're weak on the map so your sniper can just do work.
What I really liked is we just saw Snakebite and 2 other members of CLG all check blue street, essentially, just checking to see if there's any players hiding there before they all push out and start grabbing control of the map once again. So just CLG just so detail-oriented, making sure they know where all 4 members of Liquid are.
Yeah, and Eco has the right mindset. Sometimes if everyone's in security, maybe just crouch through the pit or make a flank that you're not expecting. Kind of, you know, back in Halo 3 where you would just run bottom center or just, you know, in Guardian or anything like that. The unexpected flank right in the middle of the map could be pretty deadly, but they're just not able to get to Snakebite, who's in perfect position, and his teammates also in perfect position.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the closer you are to danger, the further you are from harm, Tom, and you can see that with good being a sneaky beaver and just moving around the map, but, you know, it is scary when if you push outside, Snakebite is just going to be just body-shotting everyone.
Yeah, and he doesn't even need the headshots at that point because his teammates are collapsing from everywhere, from outside red bend, from coming from mid-bridge, and there's nothing that you can do because you have to go for those rockets, but they're just in such perfect position, and now the map is kind of flipped. Surprise, Snakebite wasn't really worried about those barrels, just ends up picking up the snipe ammo, and look at his teammates. It's all situational. This is what they talk about when they've practiced so much. They've practiced all of these different situations. They're just so comfortable moving around the map. I
mean, and not very often do you see the sniper not too involved, and I'd say right now Snakebite is just more focused on running around the map than needing to snipe anyone, and that's because his teammates are killing all of Liquid.
I think that the thing is CLG values map positioning more than any other team that I've seen, and they're willing to sacrifice whatever it is to make sure that they keep that map positioning.
And Snakebite quickly falling there with that sniper. So it looks like Stellar's going to grab it. Probably going to be taken out here. Looks like his toes get caught on the barrels. He's end up being taken out. Royal 2 is going to have the sniper back, and he's got a lot of ammo with it.
This is a sniper's dream. Royal 2 has 2 people in security again. It looks like they're going to just try to clear out these people in blue. He can do anything that he wants with the sniper. Up 18 kills, 40 to 22. He could rotate outside, or he can help try to retake blue control. They don't really have to be that worried when they're almost doubling the enemy team's score.
All right, now they see 3 members of Liquid, 1 member of CLG drop, so it's Royal 2. Is he going to just run away with his weapon, or is he waiting for his teammates to come help?
This is what CLG, again, does really well, too. Anytime they have someone just like Snakebite was earlier in the window, they play so aggressive because they have one person really far pushed up. And he does such a good job hiding off the radar, just like Royal 2's doing right now.
And Snakebite just working with Royal 2, locking down this base. Team Liquid just really doesn't know where they are, and at this point, you know, it starts to get a little bit gloomy, taking a look at just how far down you are. Spartan or Tyler there in the player icon, picking up a quick kill. The sniper rifle is still down. No one's been able to grab that, so we'll just go ahead and stay on board with Royal 2.
Yeah, that was a really nice push from Spartan, but it doesn't really mean much because it was on the red side of the map. If that was a battle for blue, you can see he's just doing his best to stay alive. He's eventually going to fall, but there's not necessarily any map control coming out from the side of Team Liquid. It's going to be so hard for him to bring this one back.
Barely got on board with that. You saw a quick ground pound from Lethal onto Stellar. He ends up dropping the rocket launcher. You can see that rocket and sniper still down in that base that CLG does have control of, but nobody quite grabbing the weapon yet. It looks like Lethal may be over there, and he does in fact grab and use that last rocket, not able to pick up a kill, but when you're winning 47-29, it's okay to use up a rocket and not actually grab a kill.
Yeah, at this point, just fighting not to get steak dinnered, and it looks like, you know, the players of CLG having a little fun with this one, getting a little cocky, trying to have a, you know, fantastic last kill for everyone to see at home. They're for sure going to be able to lock this one down. It's just a matter of how much are they going to possibly win by. I would be absolutely shocked if we saw a comeback like this magnitude.
That would be something to see. We saw a 49-34 comeback. Of course, you can check out that video online. We highlighted it a little bit last week, but let's take a quick look at the stats. No surprise here. We've got Frosty leading the way, 15-6. And look at the assists here for CLG. Kind of pretty consistent across the board.
It seemed like they had way more teamwork than the assists show. But the big stat line, obviously, for Team Liquid, Denoxide, 3-12. After 2 games, Denoxide has only had 3 kills. That's definitely an alarming stat when you look at the way that this has been played so far.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, this was CLG's game right from the beginning. Looks like Liquid really wasn't able to apply much pressure, wasn't able to capitalize or really use any power weapons on this map for more than a few seconds. And just like that, another extremely convincing win from the first-seeded team right now going up against the 8th-seeded team. We got the Rig Strongholds going in Counterlogic Gaming's favor, 113. And then, of course, an almost steak dinner, Eden Slayer. But, I mean, they could have easily won that game by more. You could see them just start kind of goofing off towards the end.
Yeah, and I think that game 1 really just affected Team Liquid going into game 2. They don't get the sniper rifle control. They don't even put a fight up for rockets, and they just kind of slowly saw, you know, what was a close game maybe in the beginning kind of just slip out of their hands. And, you know, maybe it was because Denoxide couldn't really necessarily put it together after that rough game 1 of getting goosed. And momentum needs to be on your side. You need to be playing your best if you want to take down the #1 team who's only lost 1 match this entire HCS Pro League.
You're completely right. Now, what I want to point up or bring up a little bit here is that this is a rematch between these first 2 teams. Now, it was a 3-0 favor in Counterlogic Gaming, or to Counterlogic Gaming, but the games were extremely close last time. We had a 3-2 victory for CLG on Capture the Flag Fathom. We had these teams play the Rig Strongholds before, and of course, this is when they had Assault instead of Denoxide, and that was a 100-53 point loss in that game. And then, of course, we had the Slayer Coliseum going 50-44 in favor of CLG as well. So looking at this rematch here, you know, it's a little, you know, upsetting to think that you're performing so much weaker. Yeah,
well, Kyle, you know how mentally, you know, how mental Halo really is. It's very, you know, mentally taxing, but it also it takes a lot of determination and a lot of focus and a lot of trust in your teammates. So while CLG living on cloud 9 and just feeling their best, knowing that they believe in their teammates, Team Liquid on the bottom, possibly, you know, definitely going to face relegation, possibly thinking about, you know, splitting up, possibly thinking about replacing 1 or 2 members, or who knows where their heads are at. You have to be completely focused and confident, and you need to use this series as a time to prove yourself if you want this team to stick together.
Absolutely, and not only that, but if they stay in that 7th and 8th place spots, they're going to go up against teams in relegation. And watching a performance like this, if I was a team in the open circuit, I would be really excited and confident going up against this team that's just struggling so hard here in the Pro League. All right, now it looks like we do have the players getting set up here in this game. We are looking at the Truth, Capture the Flag, and of course, first 3 captures to win here. You know,
Camo Pink 1.
Camo Pink 1, of course. The kind of outline of the game or how it's played has changed a little bit with the addition of the weapons, the carbine changes, and BR spawns.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and start off with Team Liquid here. See if they can put together any sort of a fight. They have done well in Capture the Flag games before, but CLG looking completely dominant with the return of Royal 2.
Yeah, and the fact that CLG sent 2 people carside just shows how much they value the sword in this game type. The sword is so imperative when it comes to running the flag. And instead of going for pin control, they've actually now sent 3 people carside. So I'm curious to see if Liquid's actually able to, you know, use that to their favor. But, you know, you go and you look at these kill feeds, and they're getting the kills that they need. But meanwhile, you have Frosty just being annoying, Pink 3.
And Frosty, let's go ahead and take a look to see what he's got going on here. Working together, the bait and switch from CLG, every time I watch it, is just so impressive. They do it so well together. The communication, no one can argue that it's not the best communication in the game. Always calm, cool, and collected there from these guys.
Yeah, and just really in great positions, very selfless when it comes to running the flag. Blocking the car spawns there while Frosty goes in and pushes on the people spawning under the base and on top of the base. This could be a pretty big kill if he picks it up. It looks like they're going to be able to push this flag and definitely secure it, because it doesn't look like anyone in Team Liquid is in position to stop this one. They need to just stop the bleeding, get control of Pink, give this one up, and reset. And
yeah, they will go ahead and secure that first capture. Just a minute over into the game. Looks like Snakebite is going to be taken down with Fuel Rod. You got 2 members of Team Liquid pushing up. That looks like they might not have even known that that weapon's down, and that's kind of disappointing to see them just run by it. You need to use these weapons. You need to take advantage of everything in the game, and the biggest part of that is the power weapons.
Yeah, they should have known that Snakebite had the fuel at that point. They should have known that they needed to pick it up and push in. And like I said, if you want to be taking down CLG, you have to use everything to your advantage. You have to be communicating better than them, out-strategizing them, individually shooting better than them. And, you know, we just haven't seen that from Liquid yet. That doesn't mean that they're not capable of it, though.
And looks like Team Liquid putting together a nice push here, trying to get control of the base. You got a member of Pink side, below the base, car side, and looks like 2 Pink, but the teamwork from CLG just dancing around, no shields, staying alive, picking up several kills, and now we're going to have the new camo coming up as well, and Team Liquid all dying right when that's spawning up.
Yeah, I like the position that Spartan and Eco were in. Unfortunately, their teammates were falling one by one, but CLG obviously has a really good strategy for when they're pinned inside the base. Just camp it out, try to get the picks, and then push out.
And what a great noob combo here from Stellar, picking up that kill on Royal 2, pretty much grabbing his head right before he gets behind the wall. This weapon, you know, it's been considered a power weapon combination in previous Halos, and in Halo 5, I feel like that plasma pistol is just so effective with how fast it can shoot and track as long as you get that lock on.
And this is great right here. This is great the way that he's set up. It's just a matter of, are they going to be able to clear out this last player, Royal 2, and are they going to be able to find the spawns? I love that they talked it out and said, Stellar, I'm locking down this bubble, pull it car side, but have they discussed that there is still a player trying to get the return, and that's Royal 2.
And that plasma pistol, I believe that missed. I mean, you had several players there.
He was low on ammo, I think.
Wow, and look at that thrust lunge, and they're getting another run. All members of Counterlogic Gaming spawning here at Carbine. Stellar needs to stay alive up here with this noob combo. Actually, he has the sword in his back pocket now, so he actually wants Counterlogic Gaming to charge him.
Yeah, and this could have been a potential double cap. Royal 2 going and getting that flag return. Whoever was running that and died could have potentially just continued to push that. It was really unfortunate that it was out of green gun, but this is what we needed to see from Liquid. This is the communication and individual skill that they needed to put together in order to show some sort of fight and get some sort of momentum to try to take this series.
Yeah, they're definitely showing some life here, securing that first capture on their end. Still plenty of time left in this game, and we've seen all season long is, are they going to fall short right at the end, or are they actually going to be able to start closing out games?
Yeah, really happy to see them put that, you know, mishap when they didn't get that cap behind them and push it, but it still has to kind of stand out. It could be 2-1. You could only need one more cap to win this one. Camo coming up really soon. It looks like CLG does have 2 people, Pink 2 and Pink 3, waiting for that one. Meanwhile, Spartan is waiting for that one as well, but he gets fuel rodded by Frosty, so looks like CLG is getting the map control and possibly pushing in for another flag capture.
And it just looks like, you know, is it the communication? Is there more involved there? You did just have Camo and fuel rod going in the hands of Frosty, but like what you just saw from Eco, Lethal was no shields, car 1, fighting someone car side. There were more members of CLG on Pink side, and there's several or even a lot of no shield members from CLG. They're just not getting cleaned up.
Yeah, and I love the way that Frosty's playing this. You don't have to, you know, worry about your teammate. You can just trust your teammate to try to stay alive and get that flag touch. Lethal taking a really good angle, Frosty taking a really good angle, but meanwhile, Liquid just spreading out and playing defense, and that's what you need to do. If someone's at your base, yeah, it's sometimes good to go and get the touch and toss that one out, but more often than not, you want to clear people out of your base, especially when they're known as possibly the best players in the world. Sitting there, you can't let them just have free reign and do whatever they want. So I like how Liquid went back and cleared those guys out, but the pressure from CLG CLG just doesn't stop.
I mean, that's a great point as well, because what we just saw was Royal 2 do that exact thing, where he was able to actually run away or run to car side with the sword and pick up that flag return. Now, Liquid did end up putting in another capture, but still, nonetheless, great play.
That was a huge one-on-one. I think that was TJ that was lethal going up against Denoxide. Denoxide tried to hit him with the Spartan charge and get him off the flag return, or at least have his teammates help clean him up, and that doesn't seem to be the case. I think that they are going to be able to continue to push this flag, and there isn't going to be anyone that is going to be able to, is it going to be a reset? Okay, so the flags did both reset.
And Royal 2 trying to get control of Pink here, picking up some help from Snakebite. Denoxide trying to push out and help out his teams, but he picks up a perfect on Snakebite, but ultimately taken out. So that was a double kill here from Denoxide. You can definitely hop on board with him. We did see the very long-lasting goose from him in the beginning, but
well,
looks like
he just got 2 kills, and he only had 3 from the first 2 games, so definitely Denoxide starting to warm up, starting to feel a little bit better, now has 11 kills, and that's what you really expected the first 2 games. It's just a matter of, can they put CLG on the back foot? Can they possibly take this game and continue to have Denoxide playing how he should be, to see that they do deserve here to be in the Pro League, and they do want to make a statement to all of those open teams in that legendary bracket, watching them play.
And just so many members of Team Liquid dropping. Frosty just running around on an absolute tear. Just the positioning, the way this kid can jump around the map is along with all the best of them.
Yeah, we've seen him P3 a number of times. Definitely a really powerful position. Snakebite holding there as well. Camo was up in the last couple of seconds, so this is definitely the area on the map. Meanwhile, Liquid does like splitting the map. They have sent people car side, but they do have 3 people pushing out pink side at the same time.
And see a lot of action happening here at car. Frosty picking up a kill. I can't pick somebody that is not just dying left and right here on the screen. But like with that even being said, kills are definitely going in favor of CLG, but Team Liquid running the next flag.
Here we go. If we can just go into Y mode really quick, Kyle, and see what everyone's doing on the right-hand side of the map. It doesn't seem like anyone is really in position for CLG to stop that flag, and that looks like that is going to be 2-1 now for Team Liquid. That's a stealth capture from Spartan. That means he wasn't even shot at all the entire time. So definitely the most clean cap that we've seen from Liquid, and they could be, making their way towards this flag to try to get number 3.
And it looks like they've been able to kind of wipe off those first 2 games and coming out hot in game 3, 2-1 lead, a little over 4 minutes left. Of course, if CLG is able to put in a flag here in the next couple of minutes, this game will go to overtime.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that CLG is undefeated in this game type. They are 2-0. Meanwhile, when you look at Team Liquid's record, they're only 1-2, 33% win record. So, down 2-0 in the series, while not, having nearly as many wins in this game type, Team Liquid really showing up strong and making a statement in this game.
And Stellar, we kind of highlighted him before the game, putting some great shots down, picking up that kill on Stellar. Lots of top-middle action going on. Royal 2 making his way to P3, putting some shots down, not able to be taken out by Liquid, and that new camo is going to be up very shortly.
Yeah, not sure exactly what the time is. It has to be a little bit delayed, otherwise Royal 2 would have been waiting for that one, but he sees that his teammates are getting kills, so he elects to push up a little bit more and let Frosty possibly wait for that camo, and the last player that was alive is going to be Stellar. He's crouching P2. Spartan picks up a kill on Lethal, which should give them a little bit map control, but Royal 2, as I said, pushed into the flag, has all of his teammates waiting pink side. Stellar, that nuisance, that last guy alive, does get that huge kill to try to stop that flag.
Now, and Frosty with the camo being taken out. Let's go on board here with Spar, and they are focusing on this return. Now, while the action settled down for a moment here, that play by Royal 2, running away from camo, going into below the enemy team's base, and letting Frosty grab the camo. He did that so that he can just make sure that whoever's grabbing camo has the most protection possible and highest probability of staying alive.
But the only problem is they didn't kill Stellar. They didn't take out that player P side. So with that being said, though, it looks like CLG was able to recover. Looks like they're pushing this one in extremely fast. Frosty going to ground pound this one in, and it looks like he has the camo, so he's just going to wait for it a little bit longer, wait for his shields, pushes that one in, and that's going to be a stealth capture coming out from Frosty. Let's see if he's able to do any more work, though. Probably going to go for the Spartan charge. He gets shot. Eco with the perfect shots, getting a double kill, and we are all tied at 2, Kyle. Next capture is going to win this one.
I can't believe what we just saw. That cap just went so quickly. What you're able to do with the sword when you have the flag can completely change the outcome of a flag capture. You can just, run it with all 4 members alive and pick up the kill there.
Ooh, that would have been a really nice sword lunge if he got it. But what was great about that is he had 3 people on him, still took 1 out, and forced the other people to drop under the base. So Liquid, if they do play this correctly and they do get the picks that they need, should be able to run this as long as they choke the spawn. spawns, but Frosty, as I say that, getting a huge double kill.
Big double kill there from Frosty, and that was great teamwork from Team Liquid. I really like the cross-map, Spartan or Tyler there in the bubble. Notice his teammates dying, tries to back up, but just too much teamwork from Counterlogic Gaming. Pick up the kill now. They're all rotating to pink side, trying to grab control because we've got a new camo coming up soon.
And it's so frustrating. You're one of the last guys alive. You're Denoxide. You're hiding P2. They don't even know you're there, but yet they chuck grenades up there, get the hit markers, and now you're taken out in complete map control in the hands of CLG with the sword in Frosty's hand.
You're exactly correct there. They don't know you're there, but at the very same time, they know you're there, because where else are you going to be the last guy alive, you know, in this position, besides trying to stay alive and pink 2, one of the most cover on the map.
And that's 3 dead. Frosty possibly knowing that they were spawning in the bubble, but he decides, all right, I'm going to clear this guy out of my base, just like we were discussing before. So important to go back. Gets the killing spree. Probably wished that he would have stayed alive a little bit longer, but a nice job by Stellar to even get that trade. Looks like Spartan is the last line of defense. Gets a kill on Snakebite, running that flag. Lethal trying to land down a couple grenades off the ground. Meanwhile, everyone in CLG is spawning in the bubble, so another really great opportunity for Liquid, but Stellar's going to fall to Lethal, and it looks like they are trying to push in towards this Eli side. Meanwhile, everyone from CLG just trying to play defense from the bubble. And
even though there's only 45 seconds remaining in regulation, like we commented before, this game will go to overtime if no one's able to cap a flag yet. Basically, what we're looking at is another 4 minutes or so left in this game, and next capture wins.
Yeah, and meanwhile, CLG is pulling a flag. Not really sure how far that one is out, but Denoxide getting a kill on Royal 2. That will give them numbers. They also have a sword guy running the flag, which should give them advantage running the flag. That's 2 people now for CLG falling with the sword in Spartan hands and the flag. I believe that's another kill going on to Snakebite. Denoxide getting one as well. They should be able to get onto this return. It could be it. This could be the first game for Team Liquid to win in this series, and they do it.
And wow, actually taking a look at the stats, the whole team went ahead and stepped it up here, completely outslaying CLG. You know, CLG was kind of playing on their hind feet to get that started, but I really thought they're going to bring it back, especially when they tied it. A team that's essentially known so well for closing out games. One of the biggest things I want to take a look at those flag returns. You can just see how many pulls CLG was getting, but Liquid shutting them down.
You know, hats off to Liquid. They could have easily just said, whatever, guys, you know, last seed, going against the #1 team, down 2-0. We're just going to give up. But they just made such a statement by coming out and taking that game, showing that they're not willing to give up and they want to continue to play today.
I completely agree. That was pretty impressive performance from them. Like we said so many times before, it's not like they're a bad team. They're actually really good.
They're really good.
In order to beat CLG, even in just one game, you've got to be a really good team. And they just came out and proved that here in the CTF Truth.
Yep, so they are now going to go to game 4. That's going to be Strongholds Plaza. We saw the first game of this series going 100-13, Denoxide not getting any kills on the Rig Strongholds. Curious to see if they're going to be able to keep up this momentum in the Plaza Strongholds, and are they going to be able to control the necessary power-ups and power weapons to keep CLG on their feet, or on their heels.
And I know you haven't been up here in the booth the entire season, but so far, Tom, we've had CLG only play this game type 1 time. They are undefeated on it. And we've got, on the other end, Liquid has played this 3 times, and they are 1-2. With that being said here, and of course, we all know the favor, of course, is in with the top dogs, the CLG lineup. But how do you see this one kind of playing out?
Well, it's going to be really a toss-up. It really comes down to the beginning of the game. I think that in the beginning of the game, Halo 5 is the most important beginning strategies that we've seen in any of the Halos total, because of the way that the new mechanics have been introduced. Games can end so quickly. You see CTF games sometime end, you know, in 2 or 3 minutes. We never saw that in Halo 2. We never saw that in Halo 1. We never saw that in Halo 3, MCC, Reach, or anything like that. But because of the fact that you can sprint, ground pound, thrust, you can move across the map so much, and that makes the beginning of the games that much more crucial.
And Clamor as well. Like, that completely changes everything. You know, in a place where you either had to hit an amazing jump, whether or not it was on like Guardian back in the day, doing the Macchio jump, show him some love here, or some of the other just really kind of skilled jumps that you had to be able to do. Run on the outside of the map, the risks involved with falling off the map. If you messed it up, you're done for, especially if you had a power weapon. But in Halo 5, you mess up the jump, you just grab on the ledge and pull yourself back up. So completely changes the dynamic.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how aggressive CLG is trying to go for these triple caps, because we saw the Rig Strongholds constantly going for the triple caps. But in Strongholds Plaza, you don't necessarily want to have control of the yard, but there is a different amount of configurations that you could do to actually gain points. You don't want to have 2 out of the 3 strongholds. Obviously, the best in Plaza strongholds is to have bottom, mid, and nest, where that sniper area will spawn in Slayer. So you're going to see a lot of teams battling for that S4 position, trying to get top gold, holding the top of the map, because they don't need to be running around the bottom unless they need to capture bottom mid for itself.
And it looks like we've got the players ready here for game number 4, Plaza and Strongholds. Of course, this is 100 points to win. You do have the powerful plasma pistol as well spawning in yard. There's shotgun, how powerful that is. Camo control is also always extremely important here. Who are you looking to get this one started off with?
We can really kick it off with anyone. Anyone's playing at a really high level at this point. Looks like we're going to kick this one off with Snakebite, who's going to be nading that flowers area. Really important that those players don't push out towards the camo. And very interesting enough that he's capturing bottom middle, and he does have TJ Lethal helping him as well. So that's going to be bottom middle, which is really important to capture. Obviously making their way towards nest, because I said bottom middle and nest the most important to capture. And PJ, Snakebite, getting that bottom mid and getting that nest, the 2 most important things. He follows through and gets them.
And you can see in the kill feed there, CLG picking up a couple kills, early advantage going in their favor. Now they don't have yard, but as you can see in the player outlines there, Frosty's trying to contest top yellow, Snakebite's putting shots down. Now this is a spot that we've consistently seen Royal 2 at all the time, and you can just see how much protection and cover you have. 2 members, but the way that Snakebite's able to position himself, he turns it into a 1v1, and big pickup by Kevin or Eco.
I'm shocked Eco's still alive. Like you said, that's a really popular spot. It's very hard to get angles on that player. Meanwhile, Frosty getting the kills. But as you can see, CLG has now moved in and gotten aggressive on the yard, and now they're going to be triple capped on, and they're probably going to know where everyone's going to spawn as well. So Eco not in a really great position, because CLG is going to rotate soon. Even if they do capture this one at nest, they're still going to be getting points going towards CLG's favor. So that's what I was really looking for, is CLG going to push in towards that yard and try to capture that yard? And they did.
And just like that, still a triple cap here for CLG. Eco going for that bottom middle hill right off spawn. Like, this is a pretty risky move.
It is risky. He did just see that everybody did capture yard. I guarantee CLG, as soon as they captured that yard, said, hey, we need to switch our focus towards bottom mid, which is an okay setup to have, because once you get that, you now force people out into the bottom of the map. Eco doing a really nice job staying alive, getting that double. Meanwhile, everyone on CLG knows exactly where he is. But like I said, they captured yards, so now Denoxide doesn't necessarily know what to do. Do I help my teammate bottom middle who just got a double, or do I stop the bleeding from this triple cap and capture yard? So CLG always putting you, on your heels, never knowing what the actual right play is. Meanwhile, you watch their screens and you always feel like they're making the right play.
Yeah, I mean, Eco literally just shot at all 4 members of CLG, picks up a double kill, gets collapsed on by the last 2 members alive, and what a big reset for that bottom middle hill. Team Liquid was getting closer, picking up that capture, but CLG just collapsing too quickly, and now several members dropping here. Control still in CLG's favor, and 50-0 lead already.
It looks like CLG's pretty mad that they lost that last game. Maybe loosened the grip a little bit, and Team Liquid took advantage of that, and they said, hey guys, we need to reset. Let's turn it back on them, and they've definitely done so far.
I mean, you're exactly correct. That was actually CLG's first loss in a capture the flag game so far that we've seen. So, and that is coming to the hands of Team Liquid. So sometimes, and it doesn't surprise me, because, we've been in that same situation before. You can overlook teams at certain times, like what they maybe did against Optic Gaming when they first lost that Stronghold rigs. That started that entire conversation of rigged Strongholds as their weakest game type. So they're just kind of coming out and dropped another one here to the 7th place team.
And taking a look at the setup for CLG, it looks like they want to put 1 player on high dip, another one in that hotel area, and then 2 people on the sniper area, whether that's S4 or over there by the posters, and they didn't play aggressive. So it looks like Team Liquid pushed over there, but now they're going to be able to capture bottom mid and start getting their first points.
And, CLG, not committing to anything that has a low chance of succeeding. You saw Royal 2 put some shots down, but then just back up.
Yeah, playing extremely safe. You'll see a lot of players just desperate towards that bottom middle hill. They say, oh no, they're capturing bottom mid. Everyone's dying on my team. I got to go and push there and die. that's not necessarily what you need to do. You kind of need to stay alive, try to get the picks like Royal 2's doing, but Liquid also doing a nice job of countering that by retaking back bottom middle, but just still really great plays coming from everybody.
And, you know, we've seen Stronghold and Riggs can go either, or excuse me, Stronghold on Plaza here, go either way. We saw the amazing things from Allegiance going up against Evil Geniuses with that 60-point comeback in that situation there. So, I mean, this game's it's not over till it's over. I mean, that's 100% correct there, but
that was a big pick on Stellar. Stellar having the shotgun immediately, right when they get that capture, everyone kind of knows where Team Liquid is if you're on the side of CLG, so you immediately get that pick, and you immediately push and get super aggressive. And just because of that one kill that Stellar ended up dying with the shotgun, now turns into a triple cap for CLG.
And not only that, that shotgun goes now in the hands of Frosty, and the triple cap, especially this late in the game, you're going to be racking up time so quickly. Looks like no one was able to grab that shotgun or being out of ammo there. Lethal still holding the bottom mid. 2 members now dropping for CLG. This is their chance to grab this bottom mid. You've got Frosty. Take a look. He is trying to contest that. He ends up dropping as well. So now Control back in the favor of Liquid.
So this is where Stellar has to stay alive. This is the same thing that happened last time. They got Control. They had both nests. They had bottom mid. Stellar over pursued, got a little too aggressive, and again gets taken out. So it's up to CLG to push. Again, Spartan gets taken out. So that's 2 players now down for Liquid. It's going to be a 2-on-2. Snakebite trying to capture that nest, but Denoxide's all over him. Denoxide fighting 2 players, and it looks like Snakebite is going to be able to get that kill, but he's also pinched at the same time. A really nice splinter grenade is going to be able to get that trade with Stellar, and that was a really big trade.
I completely agree. Control's still here in their favor, but they're quickly losing bottom mid. CLG just so strong now. Oh, just barely.
Huge contest, they didn't know.
And he stepped out of the hill, so they're able to pick up the reset as well. You know, showing some life, but is it going to be enough here? Several members dropping. Stellar not able to get in the hill in time.
Yeah, it seems like CLG is really putting an emphasis on that bottom hill. Spartan in a little bit of an odd situation because he could either go help bottom middle or get yard. Also at the same time, Nest is being captured. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're down 90 to 34 and you're just stuck in yard. It's the worst feeling in the world. You know that you got to go and capture that and stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, you know at the same time you still only have 1 push and your green gun's not connecting.
That was kind of a disappointing miss to see there, especially this late in the game. They only have 1 chance of pushing, and they need to get at least 2 members into this bottom middle hill, or this game is going to be over. And it looks like they're not able to do so. 99 seconds, soon to be 100, and just like that, 3-1 victory in favor of Counter Logic Gaming.
Yeah, just such an impressive performance coming out from CLG. Obviously extremely strong on the strongholds game types. Know exactly when to push and get the triple cap. Also when to just hold setup and just to hold that nest, hold the bottom middle, make everyone from Liquid come to you, pick them off, and then just find out exactly where they're going to spawn. Such great small talk, such great communication overall. And like you said, the baiting and switching when you watch CLG is just unreal. However, we did get a good chance at looking at their actual setups when it came to Eden Slayer and the strongholds on Plaza. So curious to see if any teams watching are going to take a little bit away from that and kind of implement that into their own game.
I mean, you see CLG just constantly hanging out at that hotel area and absolutely focusing on nest and bottom mid control, just through that angle or that location being just elevated so you can see over the van or truck in front of you there. Just so many different lines of sight, and so easy to stay alive and cut off different angles. We saw great examples of that from Snakebite.
Well, and then you look at, where Stellar was positioning himself when they had control in the loop. When did you ever see anyone from CLG just crouching there with an SMG or going towards glass at that point of the game? Their setup was to have the guy on hotel, have the guy on dip. You'll see even other teams will just be crouching in flowers or crouching in cafe. That's not the way that CLG wants to do it. You can see just a really strong setup and just great knowledge of that game type overall.
Your good points as well there. And take a look at some of the replays here from this game. You know, so many times so close to kind of bringing it back. And like we said, we know it's possible. And of course, stealing that Game 3 win, making that win percentage just go a little bit lower for Counter Logic Gaming as well, showing that, if it bleeds, you can kill it essentially. It doesn't matter if you lose 9 times out of 10, you just got to squeeze out those 3 wins in order to defeat them in a series.
Yeah, and a couple of takeaways, obviously CLG playing at a really high level. If Liquid would have got on and just been playing really hot, playing really warm like they were those last 2 games, we would have saw a lot closer of a series. And like I was saying, those first 2 games are so important that, we could have easily saw Liquid up maybe in the series 2-1 if they would have just stepped it up a little bit, more, maybe individually looking at Denoxide to kind of step it up as well. So overall, Liquid, pretty impressive that they did take a game, but CLG, like I said, probably loosened the grip just a little bit after winning those 2 games in such dominant fashion.
Yeah, could you ever imagine if they just came out a little bit stronger in that game 1, or was able to take home a Strongholds rigged victory? I mean, they are lower, they're 33, well, it's gone up now, but they're less than 50% win rate on that map. That could have been a 2-1 favor series score and for Liquid, the 8th seeded team in the league, if they were able to just kind of play that a little bit better. And of course, kind of that goose there was kind of hard to watch as well.
Yes, hats off to both teams. A very well played game, but we're moving in eventually to the matchup of the week, Kyle.
All right, and we do have a very special guest now joining us as well. We have some interview with the winner here. We have Royal2 joining us via Skype. Royal2, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome back, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. We were all pretty concerned for you for a while there. What was going on? Tell us a little bit about, what's been going on with CLG over the last 2 weeks.
Well, I've just had some random sickness for the last 3 weeks, and in the last week it kind of got out of control. So I was I think I need to go to the hospital. So I was in the hospital for about 6 days, and then so I couldn't practice. I didn't play any Halo. I just stuck there. So then I told them you guys need to sub. I can't get back for the matches, and they ended up just picking up Rami and doing wonderful.
So you didn't call Zach Weigel and get one of the gaming cards brought out to you there so you can play from the hospital?
No, I actually should have done that. That would have been. My parents were always joking. They're like, "Oh, we can bring your setup here and play in the hospital." I was like, probably not happening. So.
That's a little bit too hardcore. So you did talk about Rami. I'm curious, were you involved in the discussions when it came to picking up Rami, and how did that all go about?
I was in the hospital, and the first thing I said when I knew I wasn't going to be able to play for the 2 matches, I was like, "We need to get Rami." Since we saw him the other the performance when he was on Allegiance, we're like, who could we possibly pick up? And I was like, just Rami. Immediately, I just thought Rami was probably the best option for a sub. So
it definitely worked out. Yeah, it definitely worked out pretty well for you guys there as he showed up. And of course, going from Allegiance to CLG, the experience and opportunities that he's been able to grab there as well. So big props to you guys for giving him an opportunity. Now, going into this series here, we had a crazy game 1 and a crazy game 3. Tell us a little bit about what was happening in those 2.
Game 3, I don't even know what was happening. I just know we brought the last flag. We brought it all the way back. I don't know. We just brought it back. It was a huge standoff, and they just kept pushing us, and it was just, I don't know. Everything was just a huge catastrophe. I don't know what was going on.
Do you guys feel like you maybe loosened the grip a little bit? Were you feeling really confident after winning those first 2 games, or were you kind of just expecting to steamroll them like you were the first?
I think a little bit. We weren't going as hard, obviously, because I feel like the first 2 games were pretty convincing. So I feel like we weren't going our hardest, but they I guess they were just really good at truth, and they showed up on that map. So it was kind of surprising. And then I don't know. We were not playing that. I just felt like we weren't playing it properly. We were playing it pretty sloppy.
And I gotta just ask you real quick as well. Did you see the goose in game 1?
Okay, no one even noticed until the game ended. And when the game ended, we were all freaking out. We're like, we need to hear what the commentators are saying about this, because we had no idea Denoxide didn't have a kill. It felt like he killed all of us at least once. I felt like I died to him. And then we clicked back and we're like, oh my, no, he did not just goose. He did not just goose in Pro League.
Yeah, that just happened.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, Matt, Royal2, appreciate you joining us again. I'm glad to see you're out of the hospital and feeling better.
Yep.
You showed up here today. Thanks for taking time, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow as well.
All right, thank you, guys.
You heard it from him. Was glad to see he's okay. He was getting concerned for a minute. 6 days in the hospital, that's no joke.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see him back. Sometimes, a little rest like that, even though you are sick, sometimes a little rest and a little break can do you well. And obviously, Royal2 hasn't lost any momentum.
You're absolutely right there. Now, of course, if you like what you see and wanting to kind of participate in any of this action here, Tom, tell them about the open circuit.
Yeah, so the open circuit is open to everybody. If you guys want to be involved in that, all you got to do is go to esl.gg/HCSNA open. So it is in the bottom lower third. Kyle's pointed it out for you guys. And get your squad together. I think the hardest part is just knowing that link. So now that you guys have the link, get your friends together and, make your way towards that legendary bracket, possibly into the HCS Pro League yourself.
And of course, we have more exciting matches coming up for you here tonight. Cannot wait to get into the next one. But we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.